first of all, I'd just like to thank all of you for coming out here on a Friday evening. I know that we did put on some wine, so I'm sure that was part of it, but we're really thankful to have everyone here to talk about something that's really important to us as a business school, which is women in leadership. As you know, this year we launched the WIMN, which is the Women in MBA Network, and I'm really excited that this evening we've got our first joint event with the business school and the business school alumni. So first of all, before I introduce our amazing speakers, I want to thank Yvonne Lee, Karen Lowe and Celia for all of their support in putting this together. So could everyone please give them a round of applause? Okay, and now into the fun. We're very, very, very lucky to have three amazingly talented MBA graduates here with us this evening. We have Emily Nason as our moderator. As you know, Emily actually works at HKUST. She's our Associate Dean of Undergraduate Student Affairs and our Associate Professor of Business Education and Management and an alumni. So she's UST blood through and through. And then joining her on the stage this evening, we have two amazing female CEOs. We have Canny Sue. Canny is a MBA graduate from 2002, and she's the Chief Executive Officer of Plan International Hong Kong. She does amazing work. In fact, I've just been told that tomorrow she's off to South Sudan. So you can talk to her a bit about that afterwards. Yeah, that was my reaction too. Okay. And then beside her here we have Miss Winnie Wong. Winnie Wong is CEO of Asia Insurance Company Limited, and she's an MBA graduate from 2000. So can we also please welcome Winnie Wong? So as you can see, the topic we have up here for this evening is leading for change, then, now, and the future. So Emily is going to take us through a journey of women in leadership from, back basically 25 years ago when our MBA school began, through to now, and what it might look like in 25 years from now. So I'm going to hand it over to Emily and enjoy the session. Thank you, Emily.
All right. Thank you, Tanya. Well, first of all, good evening, everybody. My name is Emily Nason. As Tanya said, I'm also a HKUST alumnus, but I graduated from the undergraduate program some years ago, actually 20 years ago. Okay, so it was really nice. I really loved the school. That's why I came back to join the faculty. So tonight, I think you, just like myself, is really excited that we have two amazing speakers. We have two CEOs together to share with us their journey. So even though with Tanya's brief introduction, perhaps I would just first invite our speakers to briefly introduce your career journey, to tell us a little bit about your career development. Maybe let's ask Winnie first, because it's always alphabetical order, so okay. Maybe let's have Winnie first.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, thank you for joining this event. I think it's a very good show up on Friday evening. Going back to my career, I actually started with the SWI Pacific Group as a group management trainee more than 20 years ago. And then since my undergraduate degree was not very related to business, I joined the part-time MBA program of Hong Kong UST, I think only a few years after graduation, with the very kind sponsorship and scholarship from Swire. So that is a very important decision to me, because I think it's with a English literature first degree, it's very important to have a business MBA study to complement my sort of skills and also requirements on my job. So that's a very critical decision for me, and I think it's very useful for my job too. So apart from that, another key decision that I made in terms of my career is I decided to stay with the insurance industry, because I think back in the late 90s, Swire sold all the insurance companies back to their joint venture partners. And I, after thinking for about 6 months, I decided not to go back to the Swire group and decided to stay with the insurance industry. So that's also a very important decision to me. Otherwise, I would have gone back to Swire, maybe in Cathay Pacific or the Swire Properties. So that's another major step for me. And then I moved from Swire to Aon about 14 years ago. So that's also another key milestone for me. So learning apart from being an insurer, I worked for Aon for 13, 14 years as an insurance broker as well as risk management consultant. So that was second job for me. And then I actually moved to Asia Insurance last year. So it's a new start for me with an Asia Insurance, which is under Asia Financial Holding, a listed company in Hong Kong, and it focuses in general B2B corporate business. So you may not be very familiar with our name because it mainly focuses on B2B business. We do corporate business instead of individual business, and we do both life and non-life. And it's actually the largest general insurance company in Hong Kong in terms of both underwriting profit and overall profit last year. So yeah, that's my roughly my career path.
Okay, thank you, Winnie. We'll learn more about how your journey all the way go to become the CEO. But now let's invite Kenny to tell us more about her journey.
Hi, I'm Kenny. You'll be interested to know why I used to be work in commercial sectors and then move on to work with non-profit making. So I'm telling my story. Okay, I graduated in 1988. I went to 1990. 1988 with a bachelor degree in business admin in NIU in Hong Kong. And then I was working in commercial sectors for various industries, fast food, real estate, express, banks, you name it. I jumped and jumped and jumped. And then finally I settled down with Oxfam Hong Kong, Lok Si Hui. That you guys joined the Trail Walker, right? So it's interesting. And then stayed there for more than 16 years. And then one day, there's a headhunter call me and then say there's a post on CEO of Plan International. So I joined Plan. Very interesting story why I was from working with commercial sectors to work with a non-profit making. And people also ask me why. And also because you have bachelor degree of admin and you have an MBA. But this is because I found my values. I found my passion. And then that's why I stay with Oxfam. In the non-profit making job, that's a very different environment because in commercial sectors, you have more resources. But interesting that because of the learnings from bachelor degrees as well as from the MBA, of course, UST, 2002, part-time. And all those information, all those knowledge, all those experience actually were used in my job because of limited resources in Oxfam. When I joined Oxfam, they were in Jordan, in the breakfast center. I joined it because I found that it was really poor. There's no ceiling. The areas were very dark. There's only one toilet. And then because of the poorest of this organization, so I think it would be good for me to join it. And then maybe I can try to use my knowledge to help them. So actually, I did make it because when I left Oxfam, they have more than 110,000 regular donors. So it's quite a big number. Regular donors meaning that they'll donate every month in amount regularly. So that's a huge amount of money. It's amounted to about $245 million per year. It's quite a big sum. I don't think I may not be as good as you doing business, but I don't think I can gain this much amount of money if I just work in commercial, because I just make use of the commercial knowledge in this job. And that's something I really like. And then this is big change. Another change is when I joined Plan International 2015 as a CEO, because I used to be working on communications and fundraising, brand building. But now a different position, and then you think differently. So, but I think I made the right decision because I think for this job, I feel even, how should I put it? I feel myself even more in this industry because when I went to those different countries, I talked to the families, I talked to children, I understand what the problems they are facing. Early marriage, girls married at the age of 14, and those girls 16 years, 17 years old, having a chance to study. They didn't even know ABC. So when I came back, every time when I came back from a trip, I would do something. At one time when I went to Cambodia, in the classroom, I saw there are many bags. What happened? Those bags, plastic bags, black, white, colorful one, but they are the school bags. So I came back and then I asked my colleagues, can we do a campaign for them? Can I raise some money for them to buy school bags? So we did it. So the job is more fulfilling than whatever I can do. So that's another major change for me, but I think this change is good change for me.
Very interesting, a very different career path for our two speakers. So originally we have a third alumni speaker who, Fran Thompson from EMBA, but unfortunately she fell ill, so she can't join us tonight. So we'll hear more, have more time with Winnie and Kenny. So just now the two of you share with us some of your career journey, how you started with Swire and then eventually now become CEO and then stay with the insurance industry, while Kenny have gone through different jobs and then spent some time in Oxfam. So during these last 15 years, 20 years since you started your career, what are some of the major changes that you observed that is happening that really affected your career development? So not just in how you yourself changed job, but did you see that things are different when you started working, 15, 20 years ago versus nowadays? What are some major changes? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You mean
Yeah.
in the environment or myself?
Yeah, in the environment. Yeah.
Of course, I think we see a lot of changes, especially nowadays, the popularity of internet, social media, AI, big data. That affects a bit on our industry, the philanthropy industry. But I don't think it's as big as the other commercial sectors, meaning that at the end of the day, we are talking about the stories of beneficiaries. So we're talking about the problems they face, that human being, rather than just social media or but making use of social media will be very useful in spreading all those stories with other people. So that it is, in the sense, it's a publicity, PR perspective, communications perspective, more than the actual operation. But having said that, in China, there's a very, very different story. In China, if you have ever donated on the Tencent platform, you know that there are lots of people donated online. But this is very different story in Hong Kong. People hesitate to donate online, and then only when there is an emergency. Otherwise, online donation platform or payment platform does not affect us very much. But I do think that in long run, big data and AI will be something that the philanthropy market have to really look into. But at this moment of time, I still find it is really matters to our industry very much.
Mm-hmm. How about Winnie? Does internet technology affect the insurance industry a lot in your experience?
I think in the past 12 to 18 months, I've really seen a lot of changes and a lot of opportunities for disrupting our industry. But it really depends on what segment we're talking about. If we're talking about B2C business or some personal line, simple insurance products, I think it would be easily disrupted. But then for B2B business, it's comparatively more difficult to disrupt because we still need a lot of tailored solutions for our corporate clients. So that's why for the business that I've mainly been focusing on, comparatively, there's, of course, it's application of technology, but then in terms of insurtech developments with new business models, new distribution channels, disrupting a business, is still comparatively slower. It's coming, but then slower, and it's more difficult to be successful. Well, I've seen a lot of startups focusing on insurance in the past 12 to 18 months, not just in Hong Kong, but also around the world. Still, not many successful ones yet. The more successful ones may be mainly on personal line products, like those in China, because the client base is so big. That's why they can come up with simple product with very, very low premium, but the volume is so big, then they can justify that. But then for corporate B2B business, it's comparatively more difficult. But of course, slowly and slowly, there will be more technology application and more, introduction of insurtech business models. I'm a supporter of fintech and insurtech too, so that's why I've been proactively exploring new ways of doing business, new distribution channels, and also some new business models for the benefit of our clients. But then in Hong Kong, it's more difficult because of several reasons. One, Hong Kong is a very small market. Very often for insurance, especially corporate business, people still rely on some sort of consulting services, face-to-face consulting services. And it's so easy to be face-to-face, having face-to-face meeting in Hong Kong, unlike in China or in the States. And another reason is the market is probably not big enough to justify the initial investment cost. So that's why some companies invest a lot, but the return is not satisfactory so far. So these are the two key reasons. But I think slowly on particular areas or segments, we will see more changes in our distribution channels. And actually another reason is in Hong Kong, it's a very, very scattered market with a lot of intermediaries, a lot of insurance agents, a lot of insurance brokers. And there are actually over 600 insurance broking firms, over 2,400 insurance agency firms. So you can tell and over 160 insurance companies in Hong Kong. So you can tell it's a very, very crowded, and I remember S&P described Hong Kong as the most crowded insurance market in the world in such a small city with so many players. And this is another reason why insurtech is more difficult to apply, because the agents and brokers are still dominating the market, and our business are actually mainly from those agents and brokers, and we write the risk, but then the business they serve the clients and they serve the corporate clients. Mm-hmm. So I think these are the key observations.
Yeah, fintech is definitely a fast-growing area, and the HKUST Business School is actually doing a lot in this area, and we are organizing seminars and different activities. But let's dig into the key topic of today. I think all of you here want to learn more about challenges of women leadership, right? So let's dig in there. So what are some of the major challenges, being not just a CEO, but a female CEO, female leader? Yeah.
Okay, maybe okay.
Actually, I think there's lots of female executives here, right? So you'll notice that the more and more senior executives are women. But yet, if you look into the list of the Fortune 500, how many CEO do you think are women?
Any guess?
One? A bit more? How many? 500 out of 500 companies. How many? 10? A bit more than that?
We have a guess, 20%
22.
here.
As of 2016, 22. So it's not a lot, but why? Women nowadays, they learned a lot, have high education, but why there are still only about 4% women are CEOs in the Fortune 500? Can you guess? No self-confidence. Why? I think you are very confident. Okay, why? Can you guess? Hey. What? Yeah.
So I feel women are just judged differently, right? When you're in the workplace. Like when
Judged
a
differently.
male will say something, he sounds confident.
Yeah.
When a woman says something, she's too bossy.
Yeah, exactly.
Perception.
Exactly.
Also,
Yeah, yeah,
And when
yeah.
they're out of the office, that is detrimental to their career. So no matter how giving a firm is, like FaceTime is essential. So
Yeah.
there's all these factors you have to take.
Bingo.
Right?
Actually, I would like to really share some of the reasons of that. Basically, it's gender bias or gender inequality. Um, the reason, just as what you said, when you think of a leader, you think about men, right? Okay. Usually, we think about leadership. Think about the leader will be aggressive, directive, but probably a man. When you think about women, you think, wow, very caring. And then she's not that aggressive. She has more sympathy, empathy, etc. That's why you see that there's a different role perception. Leader is more aggressive, women is more caring. So this role in concurrence will make they create the biases. And that's why, and then studies, research told us that because of this bias, people will perceive women have lower quality of work, and they are also paid lower. And in fact, facts told us that women are paid lower, right? You should agree. So why is it saying so? And then how should we deal with it? I just shared with them. I'm actually studying at DBA. My topic is related to women, how one can ascend to the top. So my solution is respect. Because in the academic world, there's no difference between men and men regarding respect. But in my finding, there's some elements that contribute to respect of women. And then my research confirms that if women, middle management, gaining the respect from subordinates, she will have higher probability of promotion. So, and then actually in many years before, in many company, the human resources department or policy have already set many guidelines or policies in regards to gender equality. But having said that, the kind of inequality actually hasn't been eliminated. So gender inequality actually leads to the unsuccessful development, or failed development of the female. And so I would like to, in future, if possible, after my viva, that means the defense for my thesis, hopefully we share more this information with general public. And then what are the respects that I'm referring to? There's some several qualities under each kind of a respect that I identified using the exploratory financial analysis. Anyway, I pass this mic to Winnie so that she can also talk about some of the issues faced by women.
Yeah, women. Winnie, did you experience this kind of gender bias in your career? And what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely, because the insurance industry has been notorious for being very much male-dominated, especially when I started my career, when I went to some of the cocktails and functions with all the senior executives from the insurance industry. They're all male and older male. So, so that means they expect somebody to be able to accumulate many years of experience before they can reach to the top. And very often, because of the norm of promoting the male colleague instead of the female to the top, so that very often they're dominated by male executives, especially at that time. Now it's slightly better in terms of female reaching to the top, but as Kenny just mentioned, it's still we still have the gender inequality problem. And I fully would agree with her in terms of the respect issue. she mentioned that with respect, there would be better chance for promotion. I fully agree with this, especially when a lot of companies have 360-degree performance appraisal. So you need to have, good score from your boss, from your subordinate, from your peer, and also from your customers. So basically, the 360-degree, I've done it probably 9-10 times in my career. So they want to measure you in a very comprehensive way to make sure that you're well liked by everybody. So it's not easy. But in a way, I think it's good in understanding, having a more balanced view in terms of the performance of that individual, no matter whether it's male or female, instead of being very subjective depending on the decision of the supervisor. From my experience, I think I've seen a lot of female lost. We lost a lot of female in the career path because after having the babies, and then a lot of female give up their career and become full-time mom. I think it's a big pity. Very often, I've got a little habit of talking to my colleagues, female colleagues, before they go on maternity leave. I want to make sure that they come back to work. I don't want them to, suddenly feel that, they have family pressure and they feel compelled to stay home to take care of the kids full time. Because I think it's a waste because a lot of outstanding female with very good potential to progress in the career. And second, I think it's more balanced for the female mother as well as for the children and for the family as a whole. Becoming full-time mom very often give them a lot of extra pressure to make sure their kids perform. Then the kids would have a lot of pressure because they've got the mom around all the time. So they want them to go back to work. And having a working mom can give them a good role model as well because, my mom is working and they are up to date in terms of the market, in terms of what's going on in the world. And they have actually more respect for their mother. I've got a 7-year-old daughter and I'm her little, role model, hopefully, because she doesn't see me much. So whenever she's with me, we spend quality time together, and she is very keen to spend time with me. And of course, during weekends, I also spend more time with her. So I think this is one crucial point. We want to keep the woman, but the female colleagues. But of course, on the other hand, I think we need to create a friendly environment to make sure that they are able to come back to work. How the company as well as the society as a whole to support this female, working mothers, because they do have a lot of pressure from different perspectives.
Yeah, so I think the audience will be very interested to know how do you manage, right? I have 3 kids myself, and I get these questions all the time. How do you keep a job, a high demanding job, senior executive with kids and family? So what are the challenges and how you deal with it?
Oh, it is challenging. I think it's somehow for me, fortunately, I've just got 1. You've got 3, and Kenny has 2.
So on average, we get 2. So
yeah.
we did our part for Hong Kong.
Right. So I think, of course, we need help. I'm lucky to have help from my parents and my parents-in-law, and the helper is quite reliable. So they take turn to come to take care of my daughter. So it works. And then so
7 adults to 1 child.
Yeah,
That's the ratio we need, right?
But and also, of course, for me, it's hard. She's very demanding, especially at this age. So I try to spend quality time with her, and I read books for her, and to make sure that I pay a lot of attention to her. So I think somehow we can strike a balance. We don't need to spend all the time with him or her. We just need to spend quality time with them. So this is one thing. And in fact, in helping our colleagues, I've done quite a lot. I actually allow some flexible arrangement for our, not just female, male, it's workable, it's the same, because I'm a big supporter of diversity. I've been a big promoter of diversity. I think, for example, I've got a male colleague who wants to stay home to be a full-time dad. I fully support this because he is very keen on taking care of children.
But we want our female workers to come back after
Yeah.
giving birth, but the father can stay home.
Father can stay home. This is one option. One option. Yeah, of course, it really depends on the case-by-case situation. It works well in that case because the father really wants to stay home to take care of the children. And second, in ensuring the female can come back to work, I allow like 2-day work, 3-day work, 4 days or half day each day, something like that. It can be flexible, as long as they perform during working hours and achieve the expected KPIs we want them to achieve. So this is very much welcome by the female colleagues at a certain stage. They may only need this arrangement for the first few years before the kids go to school. So that works pretty well.
How about Kenny? What's your experience raising kids while having a high demanding career?
First of all, you have to bear with yourself, just one eye. Because I usually sleep well too, about 5 hours per day. I mean, so this is a must if you need to balance your work life with the family life. And I got 2 kids. Nowadays, they grow older. My eldest son is 25. My younger is 16. But in previous years, it was really difficult because on the one hand, you work, taking care of 2 kids, and also the family, as well as I like studying. So I got an MBA afterwards. I got a master's degree of development studies, something related to my work on development. And then I'm now studying DBA. So it's just totally not easy. But I think, first of all, in Hong Kong, we are privileged to have a helper. We make good use of a helper because they are really good. They actually help you to manage the family, most of the household chores, and also help you to take care of children in some time. But no, of course, you still have to pay efforts in investing and in cultivating your children. And about this, man is important. You need to have a good husband. True.
That's good advice.
It's true. It's
Did we
true.
teach her at HKUST Business School how to find a good spouse?
Maybe this is something we need to put in our course content, how to find a good partner. He's really good because when I was busy, he will take care of the family. When he was busy, I would take care. And then we have very good partnership. When he need to fly to work overseas, then I'll take care. And then when I need to fly overseas, he'll take care of the family. So you must have a very good communication and also very good time management together. And having said that, your time management has to be very good as well. You have to manage your time well. Say, for instance, in the morning. Nowadays, it's better because my eldest son is really big. There's no need for me to take care of him. My youngest son now is abroad. But previously, I also manage my time very well. Say, in the morning, I went to work very early. Before 8 o'clock, I'm in the office. And I spend 2.5 hours on the work that I have to fulfill that day, the major work that you have to do. And then afterwards, you can have your colleagues come in and have meetings, etc. So you plan well. When you need to go outside for work, plan it either in the morning or near the end of the office hour. So you have no need to travel back to your office, so it saves you some time. But bear in mind, you do still need to do exercise because it makes you fresh, energetic. And eat healthily. Don't let yourself sick. Because you have no time to sick.
That's
Right?
a tough job. So have either of you ever thought about quitting or taking a break from your work because of family? Or never?
I never. I just have a very short period of not working just because I sort of fly to other country and then I came back and then there's 5 months left. But all along I'm working. I think it's good because in the sense that you really learning in your job and you are growing with the society. Otherwise, you will be really behind the environment, environmental changes. You need to keep up with the society environmental changes in order to First of all, because when you talk to the children, if you being a mom, they would ask you lots of questions. Talk about AI, talk about big data. So if you just a housewife, to be honest, it's quite difficult for you to catch up with your children when they have different kind of topics. And the other thing is, if you really do not work, I don't think I can survive, because every time I'm keep myself busy, I feel fulfilling. That's me. So you need to understand yourself, your values, your principles. Because of my characteristic, my personality, I cannot not working. I tell you, it's very true. If one day you give me a day off, if I have no purpose that day, I feel really don't know what to do. I don't know. Maybe you may say that I'm stupid, but I'm that stupid. I do not know how to take rest. I do not know what to do if I'm given a day off without purpose. So, but this is yourself. You have to follow your heart. That's me. So,
How about Winnie?
I enjoy working too. I think it really depends on how you what your attitude is. If you go back to work, enjoying your work and learning something new every day. I'm very keen on learning. I really enjoy learning from my colleagues, from my clients, from my business partners every day. There's something new to learn every day. This is something really motivating me. So, and that's where the job satisfaction is from. My biggest job satisfactions are from, one, I see my colleagues growing in their career path. This is really fulfilling because, when you see some colleagues who are very, very much lack of confidence and, struggling, wondering what to do, and then you give them guidance, give them support, train them up, and then they gradually progress in their career path. I think this is really, really rewarding to see colleagues growing. This is my biggest areas of job satisfaction. And other area is learning for myself. I have new things to learn every day. And that's also very fulfilling, and that's another source of job satisfaction for me. So that's why I never thought about quitting my job. So far I still enjoy working very much. Yeah.
Okay, so let's hear about how do we deal with men, lots of them in the workplace. Because like earlier, right, Kenny tell us that out of Fortune 500, only 22 CEO are women. And so I have my own experience as well. I started out, at the business school, we have female faculty, male faculty, it's quite okay. And then as you work longer and longer, and then you start realizing you have more and more men in your work setting, until one day I walk in the room that, oh, it's like 12 men and I'm the only woman, then it really struck you. So what's your experience? Is it, I suppose you have similar experience with, more men as you get more senior. Does that pose some challenge, or how do you deal with that?
I think it's, I've been coming across this situation very, very frequently because a lot of the senior executives are male. And I think respect is really the key. I respect them and they respect me, and focus on areas that you're good at. Don't try to imitate what man has been doing, because everyone is different and everyone is unique. You have your own strengths and they have their own strengths, and together we can be a very powerful team. So respect each other and learn from each other. I think this is the right attitude of working with male colleagues. And I think if they focus on delivering the results, they will respect you, and the opportunities will come. I never plan my career. Actually, the opportunities will naturally come if you just focus on delivering your best. Yeah.
Okay, how about Kenny?
In development world, I think situation is a bit different. Though there are a lot of development workers, that means those people working in the field, in the projects, are male, more male than women, female. But because of the ideology of these people, they will respect female more. So I think I'm lucky to be working in this industry, where they also have a very high regard on women. And in Hong Kong in general, you see there are more female CEO in the philanthropic or charity world. So I think because I think people are really looking for equality, gender equality there. That's why if you would like yourself to be CEO, the easier path will be joining the development world.
Okay, so we talk about seems like there are persistent gender bias in the workplace. So as female leaders and also for the male leaders, is there something that we can do to help the young, young graduates, young female leaders, to help them pave their way for their career advancement? Other than we talk about respect, are there other things that we can do to help them to have an easier path to develop their career?
Basically, I think as that there are many companies already launched many diversity program, but I think in certain extent it works. Though academia world said the research said that it really worked well, but I think continuous effort on this kind of policy is good, in the sense that women or the minorities in an organization can have a voice, can work along with other colleagues, males or whites, etc. And also, I believe that, as I said, respect is important, but the kind of respect that we can gain from subordinates. Actually, I can share a bit of the research studies. In my study, the respect, I use exploratory analysis to conduct the research and study the analysis, and I found that there are 3 elements for female respect. First of all is dedication. Under this dedication item, there are a few sentences. The female executive is committed to work, is conscientious in performing her duties, works efficiently, is hardworking. So the other group is leniency. That means my supervisor is lenient to my mistakes and gives me the benefit of doubt. My supervisor does not scold us when we did something wrong and adopts a hands-on approach but never micromanaging. The last item is about mentorship. My female supervisor recognizes my ability, achievement, praises my work performance, encourages me to excel in my career, does something extra to help me, offers help when it is too much for me, lets me know how I can improve my work, and stimulates me to think critically. So I think in the previous work made by a lot of companies, they focus on talk about diversity. We encourage more female to be promoted. But I think we need kind of mentorship, the sponsorship from the senior to help the woman to grow. So I think if we have more of this kind of support in the organization, and then this will help women more. Sponsorship means you have a mentor, a sponsor, to help you to progress along the career path. Those are senior, but not just male, but female as well. And they help you to think critically. They help you to connect to different people so that you have a better network in the organization or outside the organization. That's something I think in a company, there's something that can be done. Yeah.
Winnie, you have anything to add?
I think again, as employer or management in the company, there's definitely a lot more that we can do to help female or young talent progressing in the career. Mentoring program is definitely a very good way, mentoring and coaching. And I think for our industry or some industries in particular, another one is in fact the industry norm of having some sort of networking activities that are very male-centric. For example, a lot of industries like our industry, they like golfing, drinking, and also sports. Then a lot of the time, female are not very keen, not very passionate on these. activities. So what employer can do, I tried and it worked pretty well, is to create the culture, the company culture of introducing more gender-neutral activities. For example, some classes, some seminars that welcome both male and female. So more sort of networking activities for them to get to know their business partners, their clients, their peers more through some gender-neutral activities instead of just golfing and drinking. So I think, yeah,
women
definitely
like drinking
more.
too.
Some, but not all in general.
Okay.
Especially, working moms, they need to rush home to take care of the kids. They don't have time to go for drinking. So I think we can do a bit more on these
Okay.
areas.
Okay, so definitely I think mentoring, networking help. Maybe now we open up the questions, open up floor for the questions, right? We heard quite a lot of experience from Winnie and Kenny. And to make the Q&A session more exciting, I'm pleased to tell you that we have a sponsorship from an MBA alumnus, Andrew Leung. So for those who ask questions, you will get a bottle of Bulgarian, not wine, Bulgarian rose water spray from Pharmabel. So do we have a sample to show us what it looks like? Yeah, I was told that it is available for purchase at Wing On. Okay, so this is a sponsorship from MBA alumnus Andrew Leung. Okay, so any questions? Oh, wow, we have an eager questioner. Okay, yes.
So I have a question for you, So I have a question for you. So basically, I donate to another organization called Save the Children. So I never understand, to be honest, the difference between the different, like UNICEF, Plan International, like where exactly is the money going? I mean, so for example, for Save the Children, I spoke to them and I wanted to see some of the children and stuff like that. So they said that they can only that only happens in US. So they're very different as per the market. So if you're a Hong Kong donor, you don't really get to see where the money is going. So you can't even go to any of those trips. So I just want to understand, like, what is your take? I mean, you've been in this industry, you understand it much better than me. So I just want to understand, like, how would you differentiate in a neutral manner between, say, Plan and Save the Children, UNICEF, and how do you guys really operate? Because another thing so I have a lot of people, today I was seeing, so I work in Admiralty, and a lot of people from Save the Children actually accepting donations. And what I heard, again, I don't know if it's rumor or not, that 1 year of the money you actually pay goes in their income, and after that is what actually goes to the root cause. So to be honest, like, I'm asking in a very, very no-wise way, like, I don't really understand where the money is going, like, how much is the admin. So just want to understand, what is your perspective about different firms, and what is the...
Different organizations have different mode of operations. Save the Children will be very different from Plan and also different from UNICEF. For Plan, we have sponsored child. Yvonne said this afternoon when she was having her lunch, she cried because she was watching our video talking about a woman sponsoring 20 children in the Asian countries. And then she just saved a lot of money and in order to support the children. But having said that, we actually said very clearly in our brochure that the money goes to the community instead of the pocket of the children. Reason behind is that because of the development of the development world, nowadays we talked about the development of a whole community instead of just giving the money to children. Previously, when we were working in Hong Kong in the 1950s to 19th century, we were working in Hong Kong. At that time, we really give some of money to the children directly. Some of money go to the community. For some people you may know, after Zhang Ginting, Chen Maobo, the Finance Secretary, they were our ex-beneficiary in those days. And then they were given money, so they need to pay the school fee, etc. And also we support the family with some medical health, the other school, etc. But nowadays, the development will change because of the development of the development role. So we are supporting the development of the community instead. So the money go to the community, helping them to build the trains, helping them to grow the culture, and also maybe providing clean water, etc., health, education. So this is our mode. So the sponsor money go to different communities, and that's how it works. And then, as long as the administration cost is concerned, we spend about 80% of our donation on the committee work, and 20% on administration and fundraising. Because at the end of the day, you need to pay. There's no free lunch, also in Hong Kong. And we can buy advertisement, but at a charity rate, but of course, not at no cost. So this is the principle of our plan. And when you talk about how do we differentiate plan from other organizations, that's one thing that why I joined Plan. I have been working with Oxfam for more than 16 years. And actually, I feel, well, it's really boring because all the days I do more or less the same thing. I can reply to my colleagues' email, asking many questions, but in very short time. It comes, and then I feedback to you very fast. But many things are the same. When I was asked whether I would like to join Plan, and then I checked. Of course, Plan is not as famous as Oxfam, so I have to check information from the internet. But I found one thing that is very unique with Plan, because they are working more on girls' issue, even though we are all talk about children. And I have the determination to bring along all these issues to make it aware among the general public. I'm not too sure where I did it, but at least I think in these 2 years, more people are aware of the issues of early marriage. When I talk 1 second, 2 seconds, one girl below 18 years old get married. And then there are 1 out of 5 female are being attacked every day. And also there are many girls with the age of 9, 5, they have the female genital mutilation, especially in African countries. So that's something I really want to share with the general public in Hong Kong, and that's something that I want the general public to support, that make Plan outsend from the cloud. And that's why when I launch all my activities, my focus will be on girls. Whenever I just launch an event for Run for Girls, and only female can join it. Because I want to signify that there's something different from just children, just a child, because they are the underprivileged of the underprivileged.
Okay, it's great for us to learn more about how Plan works. Another question, let's bring the conversation back to women in leadership. Yes.
Yeah, I have a question over here. Yes, Sabrina from MBAP Year 1. Actually, the research shows that there is a negative correlation between female ambition and success and electability. That means like the more successful we are, the more ambitious we are, the less electable we are to the peers and our subordinate. So based on your experience, what suggestion you would give us? I clearly remember Winnie mentioned that we cannot imitate the female leader or the male leaders, and also Fanny also mentioned your research on respect. So if they don't like us, how do we earn that respect, and how do we actually do not imitate the male boss but do our own way? So this is my question. Thank you.
A relationship between success, likability in the workplace for women.
I haven't seen such an obvious correlation as you mentioned. That means I don't think the more successful they are, the more ambitious they are, and also the less likable they are. I think somehow it really depends on that individual. If that person still treats others in the same consistent way, respecting others, always keen on learning from others, appreciate what others have done for them, it will not be very unlikable. So I think it really depends on that individual. Of course, if that person becomes very, very ambitious, very, impolite to others, not respecting others, and of course, they will not be well liked by the others. So I think, yeah, if there's such a finding, we should constantly remind ourselves not to be like that. We should consistently behave in a way that we originally are. And if we, most female, as Kenny mentioned, we are more caring. We tend to appreciate others more. I think we should keep all these good qualities that we have. Yeah.
Does Kenny see that correlation in the philanthropy world?
Not really, but I sort of have read some similar materials as what you have read. And basically, it is, from the research, it's really said that if you imitate a man, people even not like you more. That means dislike you even more if you imitate a man. So women is very difficult in the sense that if it is so caring, that means a female, you do not have a quality of male leader. And then if you behave like a male, you are disliked by people. So that's why I need to do this research, this study. The kind of respect is not general one. If you read some academic paper, there's a topic regarding respect, but it is for general. But my research is basically on how female can gain respect. It's not just a male. So there's some different qualities, especially on leniency. In the previous research, it didn't mention about leniency. It's a research for general, male and female. Leniency and mentorship. The kind of mentorship is kind of, the mentorship actually is developed by me, grouped under this name. But you see that actually it's a sponsorship plus mentorship.
Yeah, perhaps let me also share a little bit. Definitely, we see that in career, people do look at performance. I think a lot of the supervisors, perhaps there's some subconscious gender bias, but people look at performance. But one thing is different in the sense that people tend to look at men's potential. So even if they haven't proven themselves, people look at what are the potential in success. But women, they tend to look at what have you achieved. So I think there's still, in the current situation, it's still stacked against the women in the sense that we need to prove ourselves more, but being aware of that. But if you did deliver, I think the reward is there and the recognition is there. So don't give up. Other question? Who else won the rose water spray?
Has she given the gift?
Okay, we have a question over there. Yeah, you're on.
Hello. Yes. Yeah. Thanks a lot for being here. I got a question. I mean, that's a topic, especially with inequality. We have it all over the world. In my home country, for example, it's very popular nowadays that maternity leave will be divided between men and women, and it's quite accepted among the society actually. And I think it could be a good example also in Hong Kong. And my question now is, I think it's important how the society actually accepts the leadership and also the maybe decision making among men and women. And then I think we can also transfer it into a cooperation maybe. So my question to you both would be, how about your leadership at home actually? You mentioned that you have a very supportive husband actually, but maybe you can share a bit more about decision making, about leadership, about your role, and whether it's applicable among most families in Hong Kong. Is it more like exceptional case, which gives you actually the freedom to progress in your career in the way you did it actually?
Interesting. Leadership at home.
Actually, at home, I'm a little woman. You can't imagine. Actually, at home, I'm really a little woman in the sense that on some big issues like purchase a house, I will really rely on my husband. Maybe because I'm not really good at investment, but little things like whether the sons should do this or that, I will make most of the decision. So it very much depends on who is good at what, rather than you are dominant in certain decision or you dominant at home. And also at the end of the day, it's a kind of mutual respect between you and your husband. There's no that kind of leadership at home.
Winnie?
Question. Yvonne is looking at me because she knows my husband well. It's tough because he thinks I'm dominating and I think he's dominating. Right, but we still respect each other on the big issues. It's just the trivial matters. You know, as a mom, I pay most attention to hygiene factors, safety factors, education and all that, but daddy never pay attention to those. So that's where the arguments are normally from, but they are not really, you know, serious issues on the bigger picture issues. We are very aligned. We respect each other on those. I always think that I'm not dominating, but he thinks I'm dominating. I don't know why. Yeah, somehow, you know, that's the challenge of being probably a female CEO. He has formed a perception that I'm dominating. In fact, if he asks all my colleagues, all my ex-bosses, they said I'm too soft. All my appraisals with my previous bosses, they always think that I'm too soft. You are too nice to your colleagues and too soft. But the only exception is my husband thinks that I am too dominating. So that's the challenge. He formed a perception as a CEO, you must be very dominating. So I think it's not very fair. But yeah, hopefully I can learn. I need to learn to you know, keep my one eye closed on some of the trivial matters. I think that would help. Just let it go, you know, forget about it. Don't argue with him. So maybe that's the way.
Okay. A lot of you are MBA alums, right? So you know who my husband is, so I better not comment on this question. Okay, next question. We have a question here.
Me? Okay. I'm Rachel, MBAP Year 1 as well, and I'm also one of the committee of the Women in MBA Network. Thank you for coming and joining us today. And there are some discussion around our group that for every successful woman, they are, except the husband, we also have a group of women. So along your career path, do you think you also have a bunch of women supporting your career development, or actually you feel that the women are more picky than the male along the career? Yeah.
Many research said that actually women like a bee. Like a bee. They really do not like people having the same competence with them. But maybe because most of the time I'm the executive, so actually I have lots of female subordinates. And then I found that they are very helpful, especially in the philanthropic market. I mean, in our organization, actually working in communications and fundraising are mostly female. Maybe because we have the same mission, same goals in supporting those poor people in the developing countries. That's why we are really not talking about we will not or seldom talk about anything related to politics. No. I don't think there's lots of politics in Oxfam or in Plan. But just because what we are focusing on is really on how to help the poor children, poor communities. And all these female actually very supportive. They are, like yourself, very committed to work, hardworking, all the qualities that you can find from them. So I really treasure working with all these females, for these ladies. And maybe I'm lucky. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure whether it's also true to other industry, but to me, in this two organization, I have lots of very good female colleagues, and we work together. We communicate well. We talk many things regarding how to say help the girls. Talk more about this issue in Hong Kong. So most of the time we are talking about this instead of any other thing. So maybe because of these special industries, I enjoy, or I have the luck to work with all this female. I'm not too sure in Winnie's industry may be different.
you. I think I've also been lucky to have a lot of both female and male colleagues helping me all along. They've been very committed, very supportive, very helpful, and very constructive. So I think on this, maybe if I look back in my career path, since I've got a comparatively faster career path, most of my colleagues are older than me. Of course, now I need to learn to work with younger colleagues when I get older. But in my career path all along, I think I always work with older subordinates. So the key is really respect them and learn from them. I actually learn a lot from my colleagues, from my team members, because a lot of them are more experienced than me, no matter male and female. So yeah, and I never micromanage them. I think this is the key. I hate micromanagement, so I never micromanage my colleagues. I always like to empower them, make them responsible for bigger challenges, bigger projects that they think that they can handle. Just by trial and error, allow some minor mistakes, then a lot of them can grow in their career path, and they appreciate it. I never micromanage them, and they will feel empowered to achieve more. So I think this is one way to gain their support and respect as well. And if they excel in their career, they actually support and help you more in achieving the objectives.
Okay, yeah, we get another question back there.
Thank you, Winnie and Ken, for sharing. So I think it's very rare. Have so many male audience in a similar section. So can you tell us a message that, especially to the male audience, what do you want to say to them to support more gender equality? Thank you.
Okay, I think I just have one message. I think our male friends, first of all, a big round of applause for them to come and join this event. So it shows that they are very supportive in gender equality. So one thing. And going forward, continue to support this, because think of your wife, your daughter going forward. I'm sure you want them to have an environment, a working environment that allow them to excel with gender equality, and also a lot of support from other male as well. So I'm sure in your family you have female members. So you are helping them as well in a way. No.
I also surprised to see that there are males today, and then thank you much for your coming. And actually, even in our program, there's a program called He for She. That means along the way or along the road to get to the stage that there are equal women or male, gender equality, actually we need the support from male. We cannot stand alone saying that, oh, women is almighty. No. We actually need the support of male, just as what I said about my husband. I think without his help, I cannot really work at my best. Not only because of the time management or the mutual respect, but also sometimes he can be my mentor as well. Yeah, so have a good man is important. Find your good man.
Okay, so I think we have time for 2 more questions. Okay, who can help me out? There are too many hands out there. But okay, after the formal Q&A, we will have time for mingle, more questions over drink and refreshments. So we'll take 2 more questions from the microphone, and then we can break for more mingling. Okay.
Can you pass the mic to the ladies? She holds her hand for many times.
Okay, so we already have 2 lucky people who have the microphone, are the 2 who asked the last 2 questions. But the one in the front first.
Hi. You talked about by being nice to others, we sometimes forget to be nice to ourselves. And I'm wondering, what does that mean to you personally, being nice to yourself? And how do you make conversation with your colleagues or your subordinates about teaching them how to be nice to themselves as well and claiming the time for it?
Okay, first of all, I always said, spend some time on yourself alone. What I usually do is I go to do a facial. Spend my time in the beauty salon. Having some massage, having a facial is very enjoyable. Because two things. First of all, you can relax. The other thing, make yourself look beautier, pretty. That's important. This is your self-esteem, right? Who don't want to be beautiful? No, right? So I think it's good. Yeah, be nice to yourself. Enjoy yourself, the time that you can spend on something you love. Like I love doing facial. I love doing the massage. So I enjoy and relax and make myself look better. I tell you, you can guess how old I am. True.
Oh, that's a tricky question.
You ask now. I told you my son is 25. You tell me how old I am. You guess. Please give a gift to the one who gets it right. Okay, who hold it? Who your hand? Raise up your hand. No worry, you gets it wrong. No problem. Hey, sorry. Yeah. Something similar. I'm 51. So you have to spend some time yourself, make yourself look prettier. You have self-esteem. You do exercise, and I spend at least 3 or 4 times a week on doing exercise. But I spend the time most very wisely because I didn't go to the gym or whatever. I just spend the time at my home, watching the video and do the exercise. This is my time management. But this is how you can make yourself better, nicer. And now also, just last today, because I will fly to South Sudan tomorrow, and then one of my colleagues, female, she's pregnant. She will have her maternity leave next week, starting next week. So I talked to her. Be nice to yourself, even though you have to take care of baby. Spend some time with yourselves. Don't leave some time for the man to take care of baby, or the helper, or your grandma, etc. Because otherwise, you will really hurt yourself. Because we always said that in the month after you give her the baby, if you can take good care of yourself, you can eliminate all your illness that you have before. This is very true, old Chinese saying, but it's very true. And so be good to yourself. And then when you come back, don't worry. I understand because I'm a mother too. I understand you have pressure of balance your life between the family and your work. Just let me know whenever you have stress. But I understand your personality because I know you like working as well. You will not quit your job, but you can try to, but you always struggle about your work and your life. But bear in mind that many females have the same situation. They can manage it. You can. And then that's my advice to her. So I hope after maternity she'll come back. Anyway.
I think another suggestion is don't be too demanding or harsh on yourself. I give you an example. I had a discussion with my husband yesterday morning during breakfast. He said, "Oh, I couldn't sleep well last night because I thought about my 3 objectives. I haven't achieved them." And then I said, "No, we have achieved part of it. For all the objectives, we have achieved half of it." So basically, I think I'm a half glass full person and he's half glass empty person. I'm a hugely positive person. So in this way, nowadays especially, things are, very complicated and you can never finish your job. And there's so many tasks every day and so many challenges every day. It's impossible for them to resolve everything in one day or within a short time frame. So be nice to yourself, think of what you have achieved. Then you feel very fulfilling, very rewarding, and you have the job satisfaction. And then you will feel energized. Yeah, I think this is another way of, be nice to yourself. If you are always thinking about not achieving something, then of course you will feel very depressed. But for me, I feel, very happy all the time because I think of what I have achieved so far. So then really, if you look back, you have achieved a lot of things every day. Now, people are very, very efficient. If you look at what you have achieved every day, wow, you'll be amazed how many things you have achieved, and you feel very happy. This is another way of being nice to yourself.
Yeah, pamper ourselves and be positive. Now we have the last question there at the back.
Yeah. First of all, this may be not so good. I want to introduce first. I'm from mainland China, and I'm the MBA of HKUST many years ago. I'm now the general manager of an asset management company. So I'm the senior management. I also delivered 2 kids in Hong Kong, and now one of my kids, my older kids, is applying for primary school now. I found that I'm told actually, and most school in Hong Kong like not like the working mommy. They want the full-time mom to take more responsibility of educate your child. They like this kind of family. And I also found that when I delivered the kids in Hong Kong, the legal the maternity leave of legal requirement is only 10 weeks. That's very limited compared to mainland China. So I found that the whole society in Hong Kong is not so friendly to a working mommy, actually. A lot of things. So I wonder if any such kind of association that can speak for women, and like you are very successful in Hong Kong already, can speak for women and maybe longer maternity leave, maybe in the school system can take more responsibility to, maybe longer school time. Such kind of arrangement can help women a lot for them to participate in the working area. Yeah, that's my question. I don't know Hong Kong very much, so I don't know if any such kind of association exists to speak for women. Yeah, sorry.
Thanks for your question. I agree with you. I think if we benchmark against what other countries are having in terms of maternity leave, we are a bit behind. And that's why I think different parties have to work together in Hong Kong. First of all, I think employers can do more to help them. Like I think a lot of employers are introducing paternity leave to allow the fathers to have longer leave after having the baby to help in families. But this is not sufficient, I agree. So I know that some organizations are also proposing to the government to have longer maternity leave. I don't think it can be easily achieved because, in the Hong Kong environment, a lot of consultation is required and employers may be complaining from their perspective. So, but then if little by little all the relevant parties can contribute in helping female, as I just suggested, in terms of having flexi hours for working mothers, have some programs to encourage them to return to work. These are the small steps that we can work on in helping working mothers. And in Hong Kong, we are already very lucky to have helpers. We comparatively a lot easier compared to China or other countries in helping a live-in maid. So that would help a lot. So that's why I think in Hong Kong, the ratio of working women is already a lot higher compared to other countries. But of course, there's a lot of room for improvement in terms of the areas that you just mentioned.
I think Winnie has mentioned a lot. And also, it really takes some more time for the society to change all this old thinking. And like what you said, primary school really want the mother to be housewife instead of working mom. That's very true. I understand. When my child was very young, when I brought them to have an interview, they expect the mother to be housewife, taking care of the children instead of a working mom. So that's why I will not have my children studying in those schools. Select another one. And the other thing is, in regards to those existing policy, it's actually very difficult to change. But there are some companies really offer better benefit, maybe really look into those areas. In the meantime. And I always have the thought, and something that I really want to do after I finished my DBA study is try to maybe develop a group of women or some association to help women in the sense of career development, as well as some other things that, like the difficulties they face in their work life. So maybe one day they will find an association that work on that.
Yep, definitely, we need more awareness on this issue. So it's really nice to have all of you here for this dialogue today. May I suggest maybe each of you tonight, tomorrow, talk to at least 5 other people about this issue. Then we spread the word. So now I think we come to a close to the formal Q&A. Please join me, give a big round of applause to our 2 speakers today. Okay, Kenny Steele and Winnie Wong. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I think we should also give Emily Nason a huge round of applause for being an incredible moderator. Thank you, Emily. So just touching on that last point just there, of course we do have a platform to talk about diversity and inclusion, and specifically looking at women in leadership at UST MBA. It's called the Women in MBA Network. We're now at 135 members, consisting of full-time MBA, part-time MBA, or MBAP I must say, and also our alumni. I'll be killed for that. I just wanted to say that of that number, we're now at about 25% men. So that is a little bit of a representative of what we have here tonight, but of course our goal is to have that, if we talk about diversity and inclusion, at 50%. So any of you guys that are in the room that aren't a member yet, come and talk to Karen and I and sign up. We'd love to have you join more of these events. They're like, you're a member, right, Marco? Yeah, that's right. Right answer. Thank you all for coming out this evening. Again, I'd like to thank our speakers. And to do that, I'd like to invite Professor Kam Wing Sue, Associate Director of UG Programs. So if you mind coming up. Thank you very much. Give him a round of applause. Great to have you here, man. You're going to join their network as well, right? Okay, so we have the rose water, but in addition to the rose water, you also will receive wine and a thank you frame. So first of all, could I please invite up Canny? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Next we have Winnie. Winnie, thank you very much for coming this evening. And of course, Emily Nason. Thank you, Emily, for being a great moderator. An inspiration for all of us at UST as Associate Director. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Oh yeah, okay, we'll do that in a minute. Okay, so thanks again guys for coming. Again, a big shout out to the team for arranging this. Do not leave yet. Everyone will be around for drinks. We have lots more wine and lots more food. So get together, mingle. It's great to see everyone here, and thanks for spending your Friday night with us.